Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the uncensored match build-up show between Manchester City and the Premier League champions, the European champions, and the world champions, Liverpool Football Club. My days. Not only are we champions of the world and champions of Europe, but we're also champions of little old England too. And it feels fucking great. And I cannot wait for this game. Liverpool against Manchester City at the Etihad. Guard of honours will ensue. It's going to be fantastic. I've got Errol, I've got Georgia, I've got Ben with me today. Hello, everybody. I'll start with you, Errol, because you're the person that I can see on my screen, mate. Champions of little old England. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, it's absolutely amazing. I've been bouncing off the walls for days. Do you know what? I've been saying it for weeks when we've been doing these shows and on the Redmen news and stuff. We've become the inevitables. And the more it was just kind of people trying to not want us to win for whatever reason, more of us not wanting to, it'll be null and void. It was just like, no, we will be the inevitables this year, and there is nothing anybody else can do about it. And I'm just glad we've wrapped it up in record time. We've got seven games to party now and have a celebration, 7 guard of honours. You just can't ask for much more, can you?
Not at all, not at all. Ben, how are you feeling, mate? Are you enjoying it? Enjoying life?
Mate, it's been great. It's like it's not even properly sunk in yet, and I don't think it will until I see them all with the trophy. Like, the day that we were given the trophy, and there's pictures of them holding it and all that. But honestly, this week's just been insane. And obviously at the moment I'm living at home, and I was just looking at all of the celebrations and with the players and just feeling just this sense of just pride that I've not felt before, because it's a new thing for me to be the Premier League champions. It's been a great week, put it that way.
Absolutely. Now, Georgia, something special happened on Thursday evening. Do you happen to remember what it was?
No, could you jog my memory if you could?
I think there was a football game on. It was Chelsea versus somebody. Chelsea versus Manchester City, Georgia. And then what happened at the end of the game, mate?
Well, Chelsea won, didn't they? So it was a big win for Chelsea.
It was a big win for Chelsea. Was it big for anyone else?
Bit of a knock-on for that little team in Liverpool. They kind of done well. But yeah, funny enough, we're back training now in small groups up in Huddersfield. So we were driving back, and every time I seem to be at training, like last time I was at training, the Barcelona game happened. So we were in the car, watching it on the way home, kicking off on the motorway. So then we're coming back, and Chelsea come back, kicking off on the motorway again. But then, because of what's going on, suddenly we hit Liverpool, and everybody was doing the same. And then you start seeing flags coming out, and you start hearing people say, so it's just crazy to be out and people all celebrating.
Oh, it was an unbelievably special fucking day Thursday, wasn't it? And I think, look, we could talk about this all the time, and I won't let you forget that Liverpool are Premier League champions, not the show. I think one of us will remind you at least every 2 minutes. I'm damn sure of that. But when we think about this game, it's Thursday night. It's at the Etihad. It's an 8:15 kickoff. Errol, how do you think the players will be feeling going into this game?
Confident as fuck. They'll have all the belief that they've ever needed to be like, well, it's the Etihad anyway, so the crowd's never really been a factor for us when we go to this stadium. It's about everything that Klopp's built up until now, and that's that focus point for us. And on top of that, these lads are gonna clap us onto the pitch and let us know that we're the dog's bollocks. What more could you possibly want? You don't need any more motivation than that, given this current circumstances of things. So I think we'll come out the gates flying, and I think we will see the difference in between as to why we've been so far ahead this year. I really do think we will throw down the gauntlet on them.
I agree with you. I think that Liverpool will approach this game like we want to make sure we put a marker down for next season. We obviously. We're going to have the Guard of Honour. And I'm not really going to ask your opinions on the Guard of Honour per se, because people have got different opinions, whether they like it or they don't. But it's something I want to discuss on the podcast later on when we record that. But when we focus specifically on the Guard of Honour itself, Ben, do you think that will spur City on to put in a good performance, or will it spur Liverpool on?
Yeah, no, I think it'll spur both teams on, but I definitely think it'll spur City on, because you do have that sense of that's that's what they think. We are what they think they should be, as in, you know, they've won the league for the last 2 seasons, and now suddenly they're not only are they having to give a team a guard of honor, but it's the first guard of honor, and it's the one that they're physically, it's the first game in which it's had to happen, so they're physically handing that trophy over. All of these sort of little metaphorical things that have lined up. I'm thinking about the big personality in that Man City squad. I'm thinking like Kyle Walker. I'm thinking like Laporte. I'm thinking Edison. Like those guys in particular, they're going to absolutely hate the fact that they're having to do this. And I think it'll spur Liverpool on, because I actually think there's a little bit of pressure on us in this game. You know, it's been a great week and being Premier League champions and all that, but if we lose this game, it's going to be difficult to take given the circumstances and given the fact that we've been given a guard of honour. So it'll spur Liverpool on as well. I think it's going to be really tight. I think you know, last season, this fixture was the best game of the season. Obviously, we lost the game, but it was the most high quality Premier League game, one of the most high quality Premier League games I've ever seen. It was so intense. I watched it in Beer Keller in town, and it was just, you couldn't take your eyes off it. And I think it'll be the same again. And I think I actually disagree with what Errol was saying slightly before, because I think this is the one fixture per season in the last couple of years that City fans have actually shown up for. The atmosphere last season in that game really was tough, and they were booing us like we boo when City come to our place and all of that. And I actually think that having no fans will benefit us slightly this time, because obviously we'll be able to just show up, play our own game, hopefully, and obviously go out to try and win it.
Do you think that threw us last year then, mate? The fact that there was that atmosphere then? That
I think it adds to it. Yeah, I think it adds to it. Certainly. I mean, obviously that game rests on the fact that you've got a John Stones clearance that's 0.2 centimeters away from going over the line. Yeah. But I did think that the way it was the same in the Champions League game in the season before, when obviously it's a game we won, but they get the early goal, and the atmosphere that night as well was really powerful. So I think it's the one fixture that City fans show up for, because they try to be us. They go, well, Anfield can do it, so let's do it for Liverpool, and they try and do that. But obviously that won't be a factor this time. So I think it's going to be different.
Just keeping on the guard of honour stuff then, Georgia, quickly. Danny Murphy said some things, some words over on TalkSport, I think it was, about Kevin De Bruyne and our side. Well, basically pretty much everybody in our team not being fit enough to lace Kevin De Bruyne's boot. What did you think about that when you heard that Murphy was saying that?
I mean, I think as a whole, when you look at his statements and he's calling the guard of honour stupid in that sense, then I think you're just taking the topic of Liverpool and Man City and Kevin De Bruyne and running away with it, because you could go back in history and talk about players that have given a guard of honour to a team and they're the better players. You could go back and start naming names who've clapped for other teams, who've had, players who aren't as good or can't fit into that. That's the way it works, is at the end of the day, that team's the one who's won the league, whether they've got brilliant star players or whether they're a team that have just gelled and worked together, and the guard of honour is what it is. So to then try and come out and it's not even like he's massively praised Kevin De Bruyne, he's done it by kind of knocking a whole Liverpool side who are flying. Like, it's just I think it was just a real bizarre statement to come out with when given kind of the circumstances, because it's going to happen and there's nothing you can do. It's not like Kevin De Bruyne is going to walk through with them because he's better than everyone. Like, it's the most stupid kind of comment to make.
Yeah, it's a team
Kevin De
sport.
Bruyne would love to play in this Liverpool team, by the way. That's the other thing that I thought of. I mean, the first thing I thought straight away, if De Bruyne was to move this summer because of City's Champions League ban and Liverpool came in for him, he's not going to say no. Everybody wants to play for this Liverpool side at the moment. There's no way that Kevin De Bruyne sat there thinking he's too good for this Liverpool side. What a load of rubbish.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's a team game, isn't it? When you think about it, obviously, Kevin De Bruyne, as far as individual honours go, I think everybody recognises that he's up there with one of the best players in the Premier League. Every Liverpool fan recognises that. But, Van Dijk on the world stage, people have taken more notice of Van Dijk over the last couple of years. He's finished higher in Ballon d'Ors, and so with Salah and Mane as well. So I just think it's a bit of a bizarre statement. Who was that trying to jump in then?
You could even argue again, say the roles are reversed. City are the ones who are walking through and Liverpool given a guard of honour. Van Dijk stood there clapping John Stones. Alisson stood there clapping and Bravo, if you chose to play. You've got so many players there on a Liverpool side that are better than individual ones on a City side anyway. It's the most silly statement to make, just to try and jump in on something that's relevant.
So, Errol, let's talk a little bit about the football then, and let's look at Manchester City specifically before we start to focus on Liverpool a little bit later on in the show. You know, Manchester City, Errol, they've played a lot of football right now, haven't they? They've come back and they've had some tense games. They've played the first team quite a lot. Even when you look at the game at the weekend against Newcastle in the FA Cup, obviously they go on to win that game 2-0. But all right, Ederson doesn't start, and they've got to bring Otamendi in because Fernandinho's going to be missing for this game. But when you look at the rest of the side, De Bruyne is still there, Mahrez is there, Silva's there, Sterling's there, Gabriel Jesus plays, Laporte, Mendy, Kyle Walker. It was pretty much a first team. How do you think that will affect Manchester City, especially with Liverpool having sort of a week off?
To be honest, I'm not sure it will have too much of an effect on them, just because I think they're the type of team that for the last 2 seasons have been used to playing 2 games a week. So for them, it's about that rhythm. And from Guardiola having such a big, or the manager having such a big break, let's say, but him knowing with his squad, right, how can I get you guys back up to speed and performing at the level of consistency that, well, is now not been apparent, but what we need to aim for, the best way to do that is have intense or moments of intense masses of games and intense moments, and just getting on with it and just seeing how we come out of the other end of it, really. Because I think for them, they have, when they've come back, have had to automatically focus on the likes of the FA Cup and getting ready for the Champions League. So all of this is almost a pre-season towards those tournaments, and there's no better way to test yourself and what level you're at than testing the Premier League champions. Is that
why you think they got the Aguero surgery done? Because I think he's rumoured to miss about 5 weeks or something. Now, I think he'll be back in time for the Champions League with that new format. I just wonder whether he wouldn't have gone for surgery and they've held off a little bit if the Champions League had been playing during the season.
Yeah, I think he probably would have, and I think the player would have opted for that as well. But the way the timetables have worked out now, there's an opportunity there. And as we're saying now, there's a lot of games to be played, and Guardiola's still got a big squad, so he can use that now, but make sure that he's shielding his best players and just giving them the game time that they need when the big competitions come up for them. So it's not a free hit, but I think it's a measuring stick in that respect. He will expect nothing other than a top performance from his players, and that'll be what he holds them to for the rest of the season.
Okay, we're going to go and have a big focus on Liverpool in the second part of the show. But before we do that, we have got a fantastic clip from this week's RedmenTV.com special. Now is a fantastic time to sign up. It is just £5 a month. Here's a clip from when Jay Spearing met John Machin and Paul Machin earlier on this week.
Jay is someone who grew up through the club. I mean, just how important the title. Look, the title's been the holy grail for Liverpool for this entire time, and you know, is there just a sense of that when you're within the walls of the club, really?
Yeah, there is. From the day you walk in the door, you see all the history on the wall and how many cups and leagues and everything that they've won. And Liverpool is about winning silverware at the end of the day. The history of the club, the stature of the club all around the world is about winning silverware. And because it's been so long, every single year, the first thing that people talked about the beginning of the next season, will Liverpool be anywhere near the title? It wasn't talked about any FA Cup wins or Carling Cup wins or Champions League wins. It was talked about the Premier League. And all right, yeah, on the way we've won Champions Leagues and we've won cups, and you know what I mean. But then ultimately for the fans, because it's been so long, the ultimate prize for everybody, fans, players, staff at Melwood, at the ground, whatever, stewards, it was all about the Premier League. So that's why, even more so, it was just that extra special feeling on Thursday night to finally clinch it after so long. And even just the Thursday and the Friday celebrations, imagine what they would have been like even more so if fans were allowed to be outside, if you know what I mean, and we're allowed to. Yeah. But I just think being someone that's come from, like, been at the club and played, you can just feel it, and in real satisfaction after so long, we've finally got what we deserve.
Okay, so you can check that out, redmentv.com. It is £5 a month. Get over there, sign up, support the show. Thank you in advance. So Ben, let's come to you on this one. Will Jurgen Klopp play his first 11 in this game?
Yes, he will. I think he will, because I think there's a lot on the line here for not only wanting to just get one over City anyway, but as sort of alluded to before, in general, you don't want to lose your first game in which you've just won the league. You definitely don't want to do it against the team that's just given you the trophy. and I think he'll be desperate to win here. He's not won here. He's not won here for quite a while. He's not won for the last 2 seasons in the league. I can't remember the season before. Okay, we drew. So he's not won here since his first season in charge.
You got them written on your ceiling?
No, I was just sort of flicking through, just visually flicking through all the games. Yeah, no. I wish. So he's not won here in the league since his first season. And I think there's a lot of respect, but there's also a big rivalry between him and Guardiola. So he'll be looking to get another one over Guardiola. And I think for the fans as well, he'll know how much this game means to us and what it'll mean to not only have taken the trophy off City, but also win and add to their misery. So I think he goes with our 11. I think he goes with the same 11 against Palace, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I must admit, Ben, I think exactly the same. And Georgia, we were saying this last week when we saw the starting 11 for the Palace game. I wonder if that's him going, play a couple of games in a week, play the Everton game, play the Palace game, and then you can get a week to hopefully celebrate because we're the Premier League champions. And also, give them that week off because it's going to be an intense game of football, Georgia. It always is, as Ben and Errol have said. When you come up against this Manchester City side, this is probably one of the best games of the season now. The two sides are playing an absolutely unbelievable technical football, but to a really high standard of pressing as well. And Jurgen will not want to lose this game, will he?
No, I think no matter what the circumstances were, whether we were already Prem champs, whether it was going to be the game that decided it, whether it was going to be, no matter what the circumstance was, I always think Jurgen Klopp will be putting his strongest 11 forward for this game, for the sheer fact of its City, that we know what standard they can produce. Again, no matter what games they've got coming, no matter what games they've had, this game, no matter where it sits in the season, will always be kind of, it's now the big game. It's now the one that you look when you see the fixtures come out. So it's going to be massive in terms of that. And then you've got the added kind of pride factor of, you hope that Liverpool just go out and it's kind of a victory lap. It's kind of, this is why we're champions of England. This is why, we've stepped up again this season. And I think, like you said, when Klopp hasn't got other kind of cups and things to worry about, these last few games, I think he said in his interview, like, there's a fear that the lads will be lazy or something, but they can't do that. It's not in their nature. I think this is just going to be an absolute kind of steamroller for the last few fixtures.
I think it's massively important, Errol, that when Liverpool, the way in which Liverpool have won this league, I think the psychological games for next season begin now. I think Liverpool have to just go right. We're 23 points ahead of you. We're still a better side than you. We want to be 26 points ahead of you. Next season, you ain't got a chance either.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It's about for me this season, the biggest difference with the way that City or other teams have approached City is you are the champions. So every team that plays City, it's their cup final. If they get a result over City, it's huge for them. They know, they've had something that they can buzz about for weeks on end, and it can give teams momentum. It can get them out of the relegation zone. It can get them closer to Europe if psychologically they get that one over on a City. And I think that was what we used to be. Teams used to, before when we was back on our rise and watching us back towards the top, you'd be saying teams love a game against Liverpool because for them it's that final. And a lot of times we would be our own worst enemies and we'd shoot ourselves in the foot, knowing full well for an Aston Villa, for a Burnley, for a Bournemouth, these are going to be their big games. Now we've got to get ourselves in that mindset to know that that's going to happen all over again. They're all going to be gunning for us all over again. So as you keep saying, these 7 games now that we've got is perfect preparation to keep that level and say this is where we hit it from now on.
I think as well we've broke the record of the earliest you can win it and also the latest, and that was not our plan, but it's what happened. There's still records up for grabs. I still think 100 points or something that things are getting in. There's still things that this team will be pushing for, and you've now got that weight off your shoulders of you've won the league. That's done now. So now it's just time for you to enjoy your football, to maybe try things that wouldn't exactly come off. I mean, I think we'll start seeing Mo Salah back to the form and the kind of, and Firmino in the way of they look like they're playing footy on a park somewhere. They're just like linking up, and because you've got that freedom now as a player, because that pressure's gone. But like Errol said, I think the mind games for next season starts now, and that's breaking records as well.
Yeah, I mean, I want the 100 points. I want that one. I mean, I was on the radio on Sunday, Ben, and they said one of the questions was, can they be considered a truly great side if they just win the league this season? Like, do you need to win doubles and stuff like that? And I kind of take the point, I think, to a certain extent, because, I think you do need to just win more than one side if you are one cup, if you are a great side. But I think also the consistency of winning the European Cup last year, winning the Premier League, and the fact that we got 97 points in the league does suggest that we are a great side. I do believe next season we can win a cup double or a cup treble, although I keep thinking to myself, I think we'll always struggle with the Capital One Cup until we've got another 3 or 4 players through the door. It is an interesting thing now, and let's talk about some of the players that we think be involved. I think, you said Jurgen will want to win this game. Do you think it is the exact same side as Crystal Palace, or might we see that midfield rotated slightly? Because Ox hasn't really had opportunities thus far.
It's hard to say. I think last season, the game changed because Fabinho didn't start this game last season, and the game changed when he came on and we got our goal, and obviously, we had a really good spell before they scored again. So I think Fabinho and Henderson definitely play, and I think it's just all about that other midfield spot that's perhaps up for grabs. But to be honest, I think that's our best team with Wijnaldum in it, because I think the way that midfield works together, and it obviously rotates a little bit, and the different players do different roles. Henderson does a lot of the running, but Wijnaldum is so strong on the ball when he's got it, and I think and then you've got Fabinho sitting in who does the tackling and the dirty work behind them. But obviously, those two players as well, Henderson and Wijnaldum, are more than capable of dropping deep and doing what Fabinho does for spells of the game as well when we need to. I just think there's something about the way that midfield dynamic gels together and works on the pitch that means that it completes that best 11. Now, there is a case to be made for Chamberlain coming in, or even Keita, for that little bit more attacking edge. But I think in a game this big, I want that midfield that's the most tried and tested, and I think that's what he'll go with.
I agree with that, and Errol, there are times and a place for maybe throwing an Naby Keita or an Oxlade-Chamberlain in, and Ox has done really well in the past against Manchester City, actually, to be fair.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm kind of with Ben. I want that battle-hardened midfield three that have played so often together. Where do you sit?
Yeah, no, I agree with the both of you in that respect, really, because for me, it's more a case of, as well, they've got themselves, as what George was saying before, they've got themselves to this point now. Not only have they got the monkey off the back of winning the Premier League, that midfield can enjoy themselves now in the same way that the front three can. So the shackles are off ultimately, and they're not going to feel that extra pressure that has been kind of there. Jordan Henderson hopefully now doesn't feel that burden of my one sole responsibility in a Liverpool shirt is to lift up the Premier, because he knows that is about to happen any day now. So he can start spraying 60, 40, 50-yard balls and just hoping, he might not get them all right, but no one's going to start booing him. No one's going to kick off. So hopefully for me, that midfield in itself can go up another gear now. And they need to really be in it up against an amazing side in City to really see if they've got that potential in them. And I think they have anyway. But that for me is this is where the opportunities start. And there's such a great chance for the likes of Eugenie Wijnaldum. He's been an unsung hero for us all season. You know what I mean? He deserves he should have scored a few goals in the last game, bear in mind. I think he could have almost had a hat-trick. Yeah. But he still puts himself about, and he does deserve to go out with his chest high, his head held high, and do the business for us.
I think the other thing is as well, when it comes to Liverpool and Man City, when you compare the two midfields and the options that both teams have, I've got no idea what midfield Manchester City are going to play, to be honest, because they switch it up all the time. They've got Gundogan, they've got David Silva, they've got Bernardo Silva who can play in there. They've obviously got De Bruyne, who's definitely going to start. Rodri, but Fernandinho's suspended, so he's not going to play. But there's so many different ways that Guardiola could go, and I think as a result, that standard midfield three that we've just been talking about with Wijnaldum in there, I think that gives us the best chance, no matter what midfield we come up against, because Guardiola could feasibly play Gundogan, Rodri and De Bruyne, say.
Even Foden, you forgot to mention Foden.
Yeah, Phil Foden as another one who could well start this game, by the way, because I think he's been playing well, and I think he'll definitely be on the list to be playing. So, but if for example Guardiola goes with Gundogan, Rodri, and De Bruyne, now I don't think he will, but you'd argue that that's more of a defensive-minded midfield because Rodri's more of a sit-in player. De Bruyne can do all of it, and then you've got You've got Gundogan who can do a bit of both, and then you've got De Bruyne who can go onwards. Now, on the flip side, he could play David Silva, Foden, and De Bruyne if he wants to go for goals. You know what I mean? So you've got City seems to have a few more options than others in midfield, and I just think if he plays that standard midfield three, then we're best equipped to deal with whatever team Guardiola puts out.
I think he's looking to put out his Champions League final team. If I'm being completely honest with you, apart from Fernandinho, I think in his mind, obviously I'm not in it, but I can imagine he'd want to be able to see this is a kind of acid test for that environment. It's going to be, there's not going to be fans in it, but this could be the biggest game of your season now. And if the Champions League was played on Thursday, who would he be fielding for that game? And I think that'll be his kind of thinking behind it.
I hope he gets ahead of himself because they definitely haven't qualified for that final yet. I'm not sure they've ever done it. So we've got score predictions before we go, but a little bit of injury news as well. Joel Matip has been ruled out for the rest of the season. So I'd guess that would just mean that it's a Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk centre-back partnership in this game. Shaqiri's supposed to still be a doubt at this point in time. Milner's supposed to still be a doubt at this point in time. And then, obviously, we've mentioned it, Fernandinho will be suspended. Who is going to, before we do score predictions, Georgia, who is the one who is going to embarrass Nicolas Otamendi?
I'd like a bit of a wild card, Henderson.
Oh, go ahead.
I'd love it for him to just drop a shoulder out of nowhere and Otamendi be on the floor and then ping a ball across. I'd love that.
I'd take that. You know why I'd take that? Because Liverpool are the Premier League champions. Liverpool are the European champions. Liverpool are the best team in the world. Send a team from fucking Mars if you want. We'll beat them too. Score predictions, Ben Kelly, for this game.
Manchester City 1, Liverpool 2.
Errol?
Tight game.
Yeah, we've not conceded since the restart, have we? So I reckon we'll still keep a clean sheet. I'm going to go for a comprehensive 3-0. Boom.
Shots fired. Georgia?
No, it's going to be my show as well, 3-0.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, Georgia.
Good I'm game. With Ben on this one.
Chris,
I'm going 2-1. I'm with Ben on this one. I think we concede and we win the game. But yeah, there you go. Don't forget to like the video. Check out the redmentv.com as well. It is just £5 a month, and you do get access to that fantastic show with Jay Spearing, former Liverpool player, and the two Machins, senior and normal. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, drop a like, leave your thoughts in the comment section. We'll see you next time, hopefully for this Liverpool Manchester City game, because we're doing another watch along. Get there.